Welcome to the Owner and Developers Audience Keynote. The lawyers want me to tell you that some of the things we're talking about today are underway or in planning and may not be available in the product today, so please make your buying decisions accordingly. I'm Tiffany Labruno, Head of Product for the owner side at Procore. I'm joined by Steve McCreadys. He's Vice President of Construction with Target Corporation. They're a Fortune 50 retail company in the United States. Steve leads Target's construction capital program for new stores, existing stores, and supply chain. He has experience with big box retail, multi-story mixed-use development, and he has a degree in civil engineering and a master's degree in structural engineering. Steve's skills and macro-level analysis with his forward-thinking perspective are ensuring that he's positioning Target as a leader in our industry transformation. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
I'm also joined by Tim Alsop. He's Director of Construction for Seasons Retirement Communities, and owner, operator, and developer of senior retirement communities in Ontario and Alberta, Canada. Tim leads construction and co-leads development for a pipeline of over $400 million in new builds. He's a chartered development professional with over 2 decades of experience in development, and his passion comes from a lifelong obsession with building a better tomorrow. We're really excited to have Tim on stage today because he challenges the norm to improve methods and push the industry mindset. I'm Tiffany Labruno. I've been with Procore for about a year now, and I started off 25 years ago as an owner's consultant, helping owners choose the right program management system for their facilities and asset portfolio. And Procore was always one of the favorite tools of mine. However, I didn't feel, besides its mobile capabilities and easy to train, easy to support, didn't always have the things that it needed for owners. But I really feel like in the last couple of years, Procore has made a lot of changes in the owner space. And so I'm very excited to be here and bring my experience to Procore. I think through our leadership, we're really posed to connect everyone in construction and improve the lives, or connect everyone on a global platform and improve the lives of everyone in construction. So we're going to kick off today with a safety moment. For those of you not familiar, a safety moment is a kickoff to the day in construction and includes a topic on safety. So today's topic is mental health.
The 2022 Kirk Construction Industry Institute Owner Study highlights brain health as one of its 6 critical global construction industry challenges. When asked how well do we take care of our employees' mental well-being in the construction industry, on a scale of 1 to 4, 1 being not well and 4 being very well, the industry scored us on the scale at 1.8.
So safety isn't just about hard hats, it's also about keeping your workforce kind of both physically and mentally safe. And really to learn more about what you can do to foster that connection and support mental health on your job sites, as well as setting up some training, first responder training around mental health, I encourage you to contact the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, CIASP, and the Action Alliance. I also encourage you to check out the sessions that are listed above on mental health here at Groundbreak as we continue this very important conversation.
So thank you for your attention to that topic. You know, owners are at the vanguard of solving industry's challenges, and by partnering together, we can really transform this industry. So Procore is investing in owners because connecting everyone in construction really starts with you. So what is our vision and what is the future of this industry? Steve, as a leader at a $100 billion company, what do you see as the future of construction, especially coming out of the pandemic?
Yeah, I think the industry is really trying to get back to a place of predictability and mitigating risk. You know, although the industry really has shifted, and I think we can all relate to whether, you know, you're ordering a chair or buying a car, the uncertainty in the supply chain that's out there. So really the focus in the construction industry is really shifting from that certainty to clarity. And clarity is really about having, understanding the dependencies that influence the delivery of materials, and understanding that things change in real time, and how that allows us to minimize our risk and really make the most effective planning decisions as we think about our business.
So can you tell me, is the industry at a point to support that clarity right now?
Well, I'd say not yet. I think we could all say that. There's still a transformation that's really needed in the way we work together, how we communicate, and really just support the predictability and help us begin to reach this point of clarity.
So can you explain a little bit about what that transformation could look like?
Sure. I'll kind of go back to like the retail industry again. When you've ordered something, the retail industry has the ability to track production and shipping with pretty good precision. We can provide customers with that information. We can connect manufacturers, suppliers, warehouse management systems, shipping, and that our customer knows where their product is, when it's going to be delivered, and we can get back to them if there's a delay and maybe with a reason why something might be coming late or not on the schedule that we had. We really need to give that level of predictability to the worker on the job site. Everyone needs to know when the item's showing up so they can, and that level of our interconnected data flow within our industry just really doesn't exist today.
So if I had a piece of equipment that I wanted to replace, and I knew I had to take it offline, but I understand that there's going to be a delay in the delivery, knowing that enables me to reduce the downtime of that equipment.
For sure. It's like we talk about, as owners, we pay for all the industry's inefficiencies. And it's in our best interest to encourage the industry to invest in this transformation. And kind of speaking of like that efficiency, we're actually seeing a larger shift to really I call it exception-based project management. It's really how do you use the information you have to not have your project managers focused on the today, but they use the information they have to predict what's coming in the future. That's where we're seeing and what we need to get our project teams empowered with that kind of data. So that we can focus on the things that deviate from the norm and think further into the future.
So it's this example with exception-based project management that gets us really excited at Procore about the use of artificial intelligence. So if we were to use AI or embed it into a workflow, we could drive those kinds of exceptions to the top and then use machine learning or ML to figure out what that data means. So understanding thresholds, common leading indicators that are provided from that data that are going to be able to show like project overruns. This gives our project managers visibility into that risk so they can mitigate it even earlier.
It's really that interconnected data that really can transform the way this industry works together.
So what are the challenges to that transformation?
Yeah. So really when you think of like owners, contractors, subcontractors, material suppliers, you can see that the construction industry is really very, very fragmented. It is also very project-based, and therefore there's really not the kind of research and development that the industry needs to have on a programmatic level to solve that. And so you can't pay for industry-wide solutions when you're just focused on one project at a time. And as owners, we need to encourage and influence the industry to do that kind of research and development.
Well, at Procore, we would definitely agree with that. So I want to turn the conversation and talk more about the steps we're really taking to connect the existing data that we have and really empower owners. I want to talk about the trends that we've seen and how our vision translates into those product releases. So those of you who are interested in the next 10 days of releases versus those of you interested in the next 10 years, we think all of you are going to be really happy with what you see today. So you saw the keynote just now. It's very exciting. You know that we're the industry-leading solution in mobile. We're in the industry-leading solution for project management and quality and safety. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about what owners care about, and that's the future of connected data and financials. So to understand where we're going, you have to understand a little bit about where we've been. 3 years ago, we made a compelling entry into the owner's market with the acquisition of Honest Buildings. And 2 years ago, we made a decision to build the types of product features that owners cared about. There were a lot of gaps for us to fill, and we decided to focus on the biggest and most important of those gaps. And now we really feel we're at an inflection point to bring owners control, insight, and configurability. So control into your entire portfolio, insight into the data that's driving up, and configurability across your business processes. Starting off with Procore plus Procore Financials plus Analytics, which gives you comprehensive analysis of your financial data in real time. You can identify problems early, turn your data into insights with a suite of reports, perform root cause analysis or benchmarking data, and also make data-driven decisions that are going to help you reduce risk so that you can execute on your future projects based on past projects and current project data. So we're going to show an example of that now. So what you're seeing here is the analytics dashboard for one portfolio. So I'm looking across an entire portfolio, and you can see from the colored KPIs that I can choose to drill down on something of an exception, if you will. So I'm choosing to click on the red, which gives me the 5 projects that are over budget and over schedule. In doing so, the lower half of the screen then filters on those projects, and I can show the cost overruns, areas of concern, and also the schedule overruns on the top right, which are also areas of concern. On my budget benchmarking page, I can isolate data by area, for instance, or by region. So in this case, if I'm looking at Type 1 concrete projects in Arkansas, I can slice that data by dollar by square foot and do a comparative analysis so that I can inform my bid solicitation, inform my estimates going forward, and use this information to compare against the estimates I receive to make sure I'm getting the right cost information. So this next demo is change events. So we're looking across the portfolio, and what we're seeing is all of the change events for all of the projects. But I have a certain situation where, let's say I want to look at a particular set of change reasons. And here, by isolating this change reason, you can see that I have $2.4 million in change reasons for existing site conditions. So 34 of my change events have this particular reason code, and that's of great concern to me. So I'm going to utilize this in my next planning session. If I slice the data by region or slice the data by project, however you see it, you know that you can use this going forward. And then this third example is my commitment breakdown. This is showing me a particular vendor or contractor that may be at risk on a project over budget, for instance. I can click on this particular vendor and show every project I have with them to show my entire exposure with this contractor vendor, so I know going forward where I'm at risk. So analytics gives you the capability to do those executive level or stakeholder level reports. But what if we want to go ahead and empower everybody with the amount of data we have across Procore? And that comes into user-based reporting. So Procore put a lot into our user-based reports with our release of the enhanced reporting tool. And this prioritizes the financials data first, knowing that eventually we will roll this out for all of the data in Procore. But essentially, enhanced reporting gives you cross-tool reporting. So you could create a report yourself on budgets to commits to invoices, for instance, all in one report. And that gives you that much deeper layer of data that you're going to need. Oh, it also does archived projects as well. So you can look back at your archived projects to learn from your past and make better decisions in the future. The enhanced report is meant to augment the analytics tool so that you get this user-based reporting, enabling everybody to create reports and thus improve delivery and increase savings. So we've looked across everything in terms of our portfolio, but what if we want to dive down into a specific project and do some kind of risk mitigation? This last year, Procore invested heavily in the change events tool. And what you see here is the ability to manage in-flight change events. So everyone here knows it's important to manage in-flight change events, but what about those change events that are at risk of occurring? This change events tool enables you to look at risks that are about to occur. So this kind of serves as a risk radar to give you that visibility to detect and manage risk early on. So we'll see a sample of that too. So imagine this is meeting minutes. I'm in a schematic design meeting, and I'm discussing lighting fixtures or a lighting package that's being provided by a vendor, let's say Lamps Plus. And I want to change my vendor, or I want to change the lighting package for that particular venue. But I need to know what this change would do to impact my budget. The change events tool lets you log this and then start to compare it against the budget. But more importantly, the change events tool now gives you a list of all of the change events. So you can manage these changes across and look and see how you want to sort or group them. And also you could group by, let's say, trade, if you had carpet changes grouped together or additional conference rooms, et cetera. And you can also manage the columns here. So what you're able to do then is, let's say, decide which you're going to prioritize and which you're going to approve. And it's really handy for a post-mortem or after the fact to look back and see, did we actually approve the right changes to make the right differences for that project? Now, speaking of change orders, we're actually going to leverage a view of our change order approval to show you a little bit of what our configurable approval workflows do. So we put a lot of configurability into these tools. So what you're seeing here is this particular workflow for a change order is showing these decision diamonds. So in this case, we're doing an amount-based threshold. Shows up as that diamond that says, is this change order over $500,000? If it is, we're going to route it to our vice president. If it's under $500,000, we're going to route it to our budget folks. So this is the type of example you get from that configuration on these approval workflows that are available on your financials. So these approval workflows, as I just said, enable that financial control from budget to commits to change orders to invoices. These amount-based thresholds, triggers, and sophisticated controls ensure that the right stakeholders are engaged in your approval workflows. So no risk of having a change to the budget or an invoice get lost in that purgatory where it's never to be found.
Yeah, for us, the approval workflows is one of those recent releases that's been key to our financial success, certainly as we use the invoicing tool in Procore. By putting those automated processes that you see in place for who needs to approve a change order or an invoice, we've not only gained efficiencies in what is normally a cumbersome process, but we've put more guardrails in place to mitigate any financial risk. I'm just scanning the room to see if my boss is in. I'm going to throw him under the bus, potentially. Okay, he's not here, so don't tell him if you see him on the floor. So I think there's two types of people. There's that one that has like 73,000 unread emails in their inbox, and then there's the one that has nice, clear email boxes. My boss is the lots of emails unread one. So what happens is I'll get an email that will say, hey, this is the third time that I've been trying to invoice you guys and I've still not been paid. And then I find out it's my boss, it's in his inbox, he missed it. And he'll say, oh, I must be the roadblock. But with the approval workflow, what's nice is we're quite streamlined in what we do. So we go GC, development manager, to me, approval, off to AP, and then signed off from Dave. So it's quite simple, but the processes are in place so we can make sure that everything goes through smoothly. And if my boss is the roadblock, now I can do a Procore report to see who that person is holding things up. But I will say, since we started adopting this, we went from what was a 60 to 90 day payment process, and we've reduced it to around 35 to 40 day process now. And it's helping us with the trades. I mean, they can now trust us that they're going to get paid quickly. And then, of course, they think they're looking after you and vice versa. So it's been good. And it's lowering our costs as well, because they often know they're going to get paid on time. They won't overinflate their estimates when they come to bid on our projects. It's also been good on the lender side of things, because we're getting our reports off to them quicker. So we're able to get our cash flow rolling a lot quicker. The lender can trust our reports that we're sending off, and then we get our money into our accounts quicker too. So that's been a great help. One thing that we've just started to look at is we use Yardi as our ERP. So to further accelerate the processes, we're just onboarding now. I'm pointing because that's helping us over there. It's going to be basically, we're doing the onboarding with, he might help you too.
Yeah.
And so basically what it is, it's an integration with Yardi Direct. So we'll do that approval process, but now it can go directly into Yardi. So there's no paper transfer, everything's straight in. And what I'm going to like about it most is that the trades aren't going to ring me, because they go straight into Procore. They'll see when they get paid, how they got paid and everything, just with one click of a button. So that's going to be great for me.
So we really love that you're using your Yardi connector to Procore. As an owner developer, Yardi being one of the top accounting tools used. Also, we have integrations to very popular tools, ERPs, like MRI, Sage, and Oracle NetSuite. Now, before we decided to delve deep into the owner's product, some of our tools, like invoices, were still from the GC perspective. But now you can start to design these tools to work for you and really track what you care about. So we've invested into this configurability in the sense that you have more capability to add custom fields, you have a more streamlined layout for owners, and you have templatized views that are really helping to solve those challenges that you're facing right now. So let's look at that. So what you're seeing here is from the project level, you're able to configure these field sets and then utilize these field sets on the types of financial tools that you need to slice and dice attributes or meta tag those records so that you can report across your entire portfolio to slice that data. So depending on the industry that you're in, if you're in the renewables industry, you might want to track the count of solar panels, for instance. If you're in the workspaces management, you might want to track the desk count. So this tool enables you to add the types of attributes to your financial tools that you need to do that slicing and dicing. So whether you're building a solar field like you saw today, that was beautiful, huh? Or a living community or an airport, these tools are enabling you to use Procore the way you need to use it. So that's a bit about financials. If you would like to attend one of our customer sessions, Leveraging Financials plus Analytics to help boost productivity for owners, that's tomorrow at 2 p.m. in room 295. Now we've talked about change events, we've talked about portfolio financials, AI, machine learning. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the future of connected data. So earlier today, Procore announced our move towards that transformation with Procore Connect. Owners, GCs, and specialty contractors can collaborate without leaving their accounts. You can share without manual entry or switching accounts. Our first step into this is Procore Connected Drawings. Like we said, closed beta early 2023. Now, as an owner, I'm able to upload drawings to my account, choose which stakeholders, contractors, etc., on a project I would like to share these drawings with. I create that share, and as versions of these drawings are uploaded on my side, they're automatically pushed out to my collaborators and stakeholders on their account. So this means all collaborators are working on an up-to-date drawing, reducing rework and minimizing risk. So Tim, you were a customer in our pilot, and you tested and gave us feedback. So we really appreciate your partnership and your perspective on this, especially because you were able to give our developers teams a lot of insight into how owners would use it.
Yeah, thanks, Tiffany. Yeah, I was excited to be partnering on this because I think it's really important in construction, and I think it's coming at the right time. I know for us it's slightly different in the US, but as an owner in Canada, we were first to integrate Procore. But now we're seeing our GCs adopt the program too. So it's just coming at a time where we're starting to say, well, who owns the drawings? Is it me? Is it them? And stuff. So this has been great for us, and we're starting to see the benefits already.
So tell us why that's important.
For us to own the design data from project initiation all the way through the course of construction, it needs to come for us for several big reasons. As a developer and an owner-operator, we need to know what's installed in our buildings at any given time because we need to maintain them in the future too. So if there's a question why we put the 4-pipe system in instead of a PTAC system that we normally do at a high cost, well, now we can see it because we can go back to the source revision based on these drawings that are now shared. So For us, it's easy to see why that decision was made with a high capital cost in the first place, but over that 40-year term, we can get a greater payback. But it also does is validate why we carry those processes forward in design from one project to the next, like are the actual requirements or are the actual cost-effective choices that we're making. So we can make sure that we're not locked in a process and choice and just make sure it's best for our portfolio itself. I'll give you another example. When I first came to Seasons, we had these beautiful stairwells that were all drywalled and really nice finished flooring, but I asked the question why that was done, but because we never owned those drawings, it was always a design team and stuff. Well, the only answer we could get was, well, they look nice, so that's why we did it. But at $250,000, I said, well, maybe we should rethink it. So we looked into it, and then we realized seniors don't actually go in stairwells, so we changed that. But now that we own the drawing, I mean, we have a nice concrete finish, don't get me wrong, and they're not. It's not nothing, but but now that we own the drawings, we can see that, and then we can look back on that data, and we can always own that information now. So this is why this has been really good for us. It's a classic example of lessons learned, right? So now that we have the drawings in front of us, we can check what did we do on this project that we actually want to maybe change for the next project. So owning that data, we can make sure that process is not repeated again in the future, or repeated if it's good, but negative, we can reduce the change orders and extra costs that might come our way.
So this is a great example of the steps forward that we're taking for interconnected data in our industry. If you'd like to see more, please visit the Innovation Lab. And these steps we're taking forward is really to connect everyone on that global platform, and that's because we want to improve the lives of everyone in construction.
So like in my day-to-day, I need to solve business problems that really involve some physical asset, whether it's a building, and the better the information I have, the better my solution. So as a result, I'm able to build better, cheaper, faster, greener, more community-oriented buildings. And so that industry, moving that industry to work towards improving that is something critical to our business. Ultimately, as leaders working together to solve these problems and pain points, whether it be the administrative burden, mental health that we talked about, or the labor shortage, we need that kind of connection of us as an industry is what needs to happen. In particular, at Target, that pain point of workforce development is something that we took an interest in how do we try to solve that. And you say there's readily available information from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics that shows over half the construction workforce is over 46. And we know that women and people of color are vastly underrepresented in the construction industry. For example, African Americans just make up 5.8% of the workforce, and women around 9 or 10% of the workforce. And when you look at a potential labor pool, 50% of the population is female, and 44% of the millennials and 49% of Gen Zs are non-white. And when we added up those numbers, it was glaringly clear that there weren't going to be the people in the way we were recruiting to help meet our growth goals as a company, and that our success really went hand in hand in community success. So we actually helped to incubate a startup called Construct Reach. You'll see them later as a national workforce development initiative to help to rebuild and repopulate the industry, because it's not only technology that makes our industry sustainable, it's people. Construct Reach in particular gives visibility and exposure to careers in construction. It helps to build pathways for underrepresented communities of young people. It also includes a social platform, social media platform, contractor readiness programs, and I Built This events. And as a community of place builders, we are, the construction industry is really uniquely positioned to really build and change the way our communities feel. And there's really nothing that builds more pride in your work when you can reach out and point to something that I built this and I helped build this community and participate in the economic developments of your community. At Target, we have our goal that would have our stores built by the communities that they serve. The industry and available labor really doesn't represent this. So as owners, we really need to push, promote, influence the industry to take an active part in achieving this critical needs. And I'd also say you also need to hold your contractors accountable to being your partner to change this industry. And so if they're just checking a box, they're not doing what they need to do. They need to do much, much more, and they're the answer. And as an owner, we need to begin continue that influence of our partners. I'd also like you to join a couple of sessions that Procore has at this session at Groundbreak, whether it's tapping into the labor pool at the high school level, driving performance and challenging outdated practices, creating access and empowering others, promoting a diverse workforce, recruiting and retaining women in the trades.
Yeah, for us, it's also that shared vision and values. We're looking to make a positive change in the industry, and Procore helps us facilitate that. I actually lead the Toronto group, the community group in Procore. And it's a place for us to connect and share knowledge, really. So if you're interested in community groups, there's quite a few all over the world now, I think. We're doing a casual meetup at 5 o'clock in the expo hall if you want to pop in. I'll be there. But it's a culture of working together, really, and constantly asking, what can I bring to make my company better? What can I share with others to better that way of working? So as owners, and because we're repeat builders, we feel that we can drive that industry transformation, but we need a partner to do it. Someone that can build over the long haul, really. And for us, that's been Procore. It's our 5th year now with Procore, and it's constantly evolving and getting better, and I just can't see it stopping. So.
Thank you. So thank you, Tim and Steve, for your partnership, and thank you for being here today, helping us. Procore and our partners can really help to make this industry better. And thank you for building the communities that we're all part of. Thank you to all of you for attending the session today. Procore's Plus Owners is really transforming this industry, and we really look forward to continuing the conversation with all of you. Please come up and say hi to us over the next few days at Groundbreak, and introduce yourself. We're just really excited to continue the conversation and work together to make this industry better and really partner to improve the lives of everyone in construction. So thank you.